right? If you get watermelons, get it with seeds. If you get grapes, get it with seeds, because inside the seed has the resveratrol, which is a genetic switch. Turns on certain genes. Do I have 5 minutes? Is there 5? Okay, so speaking of that, let me run into the last thing real quick. Is that there's a woman called Jean-Claude Moll. She was 122. She was the oldest living woman in France, in the Western world, and she attributed 3 foods to her longevity. And she, by the way, she wasn't just like decrepit or anything. She was like on top of it, right? She was 122. Like there's interviews on YouTube. You can still go and look. And she was on top of it. She attributed 3 foods to her longevity. One of them was olive oil. Like the real stuff, like medicinal olive oil. And she would lather her body in olive oil. She'd be drinking it, using it as a salad dressing, not cooking with it, because it oxidizes, right, and causes corrosion on your body. So you use it as a salad dressing. The other thing was, and by the way, olive oil, I was doing this at Just Foods when I gave them like a 2-hour download, 3-hour download on chocolate or something. And one of the things that came up was this subject. In olive oil, there's something called oleorupine, which is, it's basically an aromatase inhibitor. So I mentioned way back, rewinding to the beginning of this movie, is that there are hormone disruptors lodged in fat cells, right? Aromatase is one of those enzymes. Aromatase inhibitors block off the conversion of testosterone into aromatase. Does that make sense? So olive oil has always been correlated with longevity. And now that we kind of, like I make these little correlations, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The next thing is port wine. Port wine has resveratrol, like the high resveratrol wine. This woman's like 122, so she wasn't drinking like $99 or $9.99 box wine. You know what I'm saying? She had the good stuff. High resveratrol. Resveratrol is a aromatase inhibitor. It's actually switches on certain genetic triggers. The third thing that she attributed to her 122 years is she ate 2.2 pounds of dark chocolate a week. That's a kilo of dark chocolate a week. Now, I never knew this before until just recently. There's an aromatase inhibitor in chocolate. I never knew this. I thought it was the theobromine, which is the blood thinner, which is the cardiovascular stimulant in chocolate. It actually turns out that there's a good level of zinc in cacao. Zinc turns out to be an aromatase inhibitor. Zinc is very powerful for your sexual reproductive system, for your immune system, brain function. And it's actually a big antibacterial compound, antiviral compound. So using zinc orally, swishing it around in your mouth, can be very powerful. But I found that out, I was like, whoa, that's really interesting correlation that we make with this whole hormone puzzle. And then just, using Jean-Claude Moll as an example, she was 122. So all these people talking about chocolate's bad for you, cacao's bad for you, it's like, take it up with her. Take it up with Bernardo Lopalo, who's 111. He's about to open up a restaurant. He's writing books like crazy, doing speaking tours. The guy, he's all about, his 5 foods are cinnamon, olive oil, garlic, right? Heard all the nonsense about garlic, and honey, and chocolate. Those are his 5 foods. Chocolate's always there somewhere, right?
What was it? Olive oil?
Olive oil, yeah. Olive oil is always in that conversation. Honey too. Honey is.
And what was his name?
Bernardo Lopalo. He's still around. He's still running around doing his thing. Yeah.
He did?
Yeah. So it looks like for the purpose of time, we are at our end. So if anyone has any questions or anything, I think we can open up to questions.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Right from the beginning, the catabolic. The catabolic, and the other one is anabolic.
Yeah.
Just a summary. The catabolic is.
Catabolic is breaking down.
Okay.
Anabolic is building up.
Building up.
That's
okay.
how you simplify it. You can obviously take that a lot more into different directions, but like estrogen, catabolic. Estrogen dominance, I should say, catabolic. Testosterone, anabolic. Progesterone, anabolic, right? Estrogen, just so you know, is correlated right now, being one of the number one contributors of zodiac sign.
What is?
Estrogen dominance. So when we have our hormones are imbalanced, this one right here and this one right here, the big Cancer, estrogen is a huge contributor to that situation.